I'm so glad to stand in front of you because I want to talk to you about something that is affecting every single person sitting in this room: life and death. I have a question for you. Do you know what is the third cause of death in the world? You are going to be surprised, but it is the truth. Preventable medical errors are the #3 killer in the world after cancer and cardiovascular disease. Preventable medical errors is actually errors that have been made by doctors on patients that could have been avoided before. This has made the head news of several newspapers, but still little people know about this reality. I'm not here today to say that doctors don't do a great job. It's not true. They do a great job. If I'm here today, it's to emphasize on one word: preventable. I want today to deliver a message of action so that we can all together prevent medical errors. But still today, 250,000 people each year are dying of medical errors. In France, it's 50,000 people. These people, that can be you, that can be me, that can be the people you love and you care about, but I'm here today to talk to you about Susie. Susie is actually a 43-year-old patient. What you see is on the screen is actually the scanner of our brain. Susie has what we call an aneurysm in her brain. The arteries that are feeding our brain with blood are ill. With stress and with our eating habits, it's inflating like a balloon under blood pressure, and it can rupture at any moment, leading to stroke and then death. Let's take a deep dive into the brain of Susie to understand. What you see right now is the bubble I was talking to you about. And this is exactly what we want to prevent: the rupture of this bubble and the blood going into our brain. So to treat Susie, she has to go under a surgery. And so the doctor has to treat Susie. What the doctor will actually do is that she will access to her brain from her femoral artery with a tube that we call a catheter to deliver the spring you are seeing on the video that is actually called a stent. So the stent can actually prevent the blood to go into the aneurysm area, the balloon. The problem is, it is so difficult to find the right size of the stent for the right patient, because if it's too small, this will cause blood clots that will block the blood going to our brain. And if it's too big, the aneurysm will rupture. And the doctor doesn't know before treating Susie which size of stent is the right for her. There's more than 12 stents that can suit her. So today, he's testing directly on the patient. And if I'm here today to talk to you about this Susie you don't even know, it's because actually she's not anymore among us. That actually shocked me. And I, with the family, wanted to ask the doctors one simple question: why? And the doctors actually told us two things. We don't know why. We don't understand why. And these sentences really struck me. Actually, I was sitting on the same benches you are sitting today as a student 3 years ago. I have always been passionate about science, because science can help you understand why. I don't want to accept things that happen as a fatality under the control of a transcendental power, call it as you like. my love for science urged me to found a company called Biomodex that wants to help millions of Suzy around the world and to understand why for millions of Suzy. And actually this artwork has been recognized this year by the MIT as one of the top 10 innovations in France that matter for the world. So as a scientist and as an engineer, I'm an expert in modeling complex systems from spacecraft engine to flow in a nuclear power plant. And that struck me because simulation is a routine task in the industry. I mean, every single car you have driven to come to Saclay today has been tested 1,000 times before it was even produced once to be sure that they won't kill you. And I was like, why are we doing this for cars? And why can't we do this for humans? And I actually went to see the medical team that treated Suzy with Professor Moret, that is on the right on the photo, who is an expert, or world-class expert in a medical discipline that is called interventional neuroradiology. And actually, talking with the doctors, I understand two critical things. First one, humans are not cars, hopefully for us. One car can be tested before being mass-produced, but each single person in this room is different. And in this example, you can see the same organ that is a brain artery from different patients. And as you can see, they don't look at all like the same. Second thing that really struck me is that the only materials we have today to train and to plan on human tissues in 2017 are simple things as silicon tubes, as you can see on this photo. What you see on the screen is not a piece of modern art, although I'm not a fan of modern art. It is actually what you can see in 0.1 millimeter of artery. This is the complexity of the structure, of the cell structure of human tissue. And the question was, how can we bring in the real world such a complex structure with traditional ways of manufacturing? That's when I started to look deep into 3D printing that was hot at the moment and emerging as a technology and had the potential to reproduce very complex shapes and with specific mechanics. And at the moment, a technology was emerging that was multi-material 3D printing. And what was lacking was to take this technology from a macro scale to a cellular level scale so it can be applied to human tissues. And so that is exactly what we worked on at Biomodex, building the first world technology that is able to mix millions of materials, hard, soft, liquid, viscous, friable, at a micron level, so we are able to reproduce the biomechanics, the in vivo biomechanics of human tissue. And so the result is what you see on the screen and what I got in my hand. This is the exact replica of Marcus, who is a German patient that is going to be treated next week by Professor Moret. And this is made of more than 1 million points of different materials. That are the colors you can see, with different soft and harder parts. Have a look. What can you do with that?
Le danger, c'est la fragilité. Les vaisseaux mal formés sont plus fragiles. Donc toute navigation, toute contrainte interne peut entraîner une rupture.
Et donc on a besoin d'avoir des modèles qui reproduisent.
Professor Moret, second time, can actually plan the operation of Marcus to find the right treatment and the right size of the stent to treat Marcus. And what can we expect from that? We can expect faster operation for Marcus. We can expect a less risky operation. And we can expect, finally, an optimal treatment for this patient. Today, I've been talking to you about one pathology that is hemorrhagic stroke, that is a niche in the medical field. But think about all the applications of the human body. Think about the brain, think about heart, the cardiovascular disease, think about cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, how we could revolution the healthcare and the way the patients are treated today thanks to simulation. And if I'm standing in front of you today and talking to you about all that, it's because I want to show you that the healthcare industry is deeply changing. The relationship between a doctor and his patient is changing. Yesterday, the doctors had the tools to operate the patient, but today, we, as patients, have also the tools to understand why. There is a lot of data on the internet to help us understand why, for millions of Susie that we care for and we love. And actually, today, I'm here so that I can deliver you this message. And I want everybody in this room to find your Susie in your life and to give all your energy to understand why for your Susie in your life. And I want you to take your responsibility to understand. I want us all together to build the future of healthcare for tomorrow on. Thank you.